All right, I gotta say this real quick. I just watched a SWP video that he recently made, and in it he was taking shots at Kevin Samuels. This is not a. I'm not part of Kevin Samuels' defense team. I'm not the biggest fan of Kevin Samuels. I'm not gonna knock him. I just fall back and let the chips fall where they may. However, there were some things that SWP said in his video that I find in Malafide that it wasn't in good faith. Basically, what he said is that excuse me, is that Kevin Samuels is coming on the internet saying, I'm going to deal with younger women because they have daddy issues and I can take advantage of them having daddy issues. I've I'm not a faithful listener of Kevin Samuels. I peep his content out from time to time, but I know, and I've been on panels with him and had discussions with him. I know for a fact that he hasn't just come out and just straight up said, I'm going to deal with younger women who have daddy issues because they have daddy issues. Because here's the thing, newsflash, nigga, a young female who has daddy issues, if she doesn't get those daddy issues resolved, she's gonna be an old female with daddy issues. So a young bitch or an old bitch with daddy issues is still a bitch with daddy issues. And if she doesn't get them resolved, it's just gonna linger and fester. So the difference between them is that, excuse me, the old bitch with daddy issues got a lot more road miles and a lot more baggage from the consequences of her actions of dealing with said daddy issues, as opposed to a younger female who has less baggage, even though she may have daddy issues. Excuse me. She has less baggage and she has, she hadn't made as many mistakes as she navigates life dealing with her daddy issues. So, man, and here's my thing. I'm not caping for Kevin Samuels or anything like that. But here's the thing, cause I'm caping for myself. I'm in my mid 30s, going into my late 30s. Nigga, I'm not dating no bitch over 30. Fuck you, fuck you. So yes, from here on out, if I get up into my 40s, guess what? I'm not dating no bitch in her 30s. Period. Period. No older than 27. And that's stretching it. 27 on down. Fuck you. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a damn if I'm Kevin Samuels' age, in my 50s and shit. If I ain't found one by then, guess what? I'm still gonna be batting. I'm still gonna be fishing in that pond. You hear me? Cause I'm not dealing with no old 30-something-year-old bitch with daddy issues and baggage. I'm not doing it. And I've heard him harp on this a couple times, and he's used Kevin Samuels as a punching bag to make that point, to drive that point home. I just cringe when I hear Kevin Samuels say, I can't beat him off with a stick. Well, nigga, that's gonna be me in about 15 so years. I'm gonna be that 50-year-old nigga if I ain't got no if I ain't got no old lady body and talking about I can't beat him off with a stick. Fuck is you talking about? So brother SWP, if you advocating for brothers to date chicks around their age, especially if the brothers are in their 30s and up, nigga, save it. Save it. That shit fool as hell, bro. That shit dead. Because as a brother in my mid to late 30s, I've seen over the past 20, 22, even 23 years of my past life, the chicks from middle school who, back in middle school, you had a crush on them and shit. They had a little middle school body that and then they went to high school and they really developed and shit. And then that post high school, they're in their early 20s and 9, they the baddest bitches. They the bad bitches and whatnot, all souped up and all that other shit, right? You see them hit their zenith. You done seen them from middle school all the way up into adulthood. Then they hit their zenith of a sexual marketplace value, and then you see them slowly descend into obscurity as far as the sexual marketplace value is concerned. So nigga, save that shit. I've seen the movie from start to finish. I've read the book, nigga. I got the t-shirt. I know how it ends. I've seen how it begins and I've seen how it ends. So respectfully, fuck you with that bullshit. Respectfully. And you know what? Hold on, just real quick. The whole argument, because I've heard him make this argument over the past, I want to say 6 months, but the argument is in malafide. It's not in good faith, in my opinion. To speculate, I think he doesn't want older gentlemen who are established and whatnot fishing in the same pond that he fishing in. So now he has to concoct this straw man by saying that Kevin Samuels and older brothers like that are saying that, yeah, we like to exploit the younger females because they have daddy issues. Nigga, I've never heard Kevin Samuels or any other brother in the black manosphere for that matter say that. We, I've heard brothers say that we avoid daddy issues altogether, whether it's wrapped in an 18-year-old package or a 38-year-old package. And nigga, you around the same age as me. You mid to late 30s, maybe even late 30s, early 40s. I don't know, but I'm guessing you probably 83, 84, 85. Nigga, you please, you see this shit. You see this shit. You cannot sit up here and tell me that you gonna date one of these chicks your age. You can't tell me that you gonna do it. Especially if you ain't got no kids. If you 36, 37, if you 35, 36, 37, what the fuck you look like getting with a 35, 36, 37 and you ain't got no kids of your own? You might be able to get one out of her. Just one. You got one shot. You better hope it's a son, and you better hope that son don't have no Down syndrome or no recessive genes because her eggs is old as shit. So stop it, nigga. Stop it. Stop it. That shit wonderful. I mean, you slayed that straw man beautifully. I give you that. But nigga, I heard you. I heard you. I've been listening. I heard you. And you fool as hell for that shit, man. Real shit. Cause I'm not dealing. Cause yeah, I got one shorty. I got a daughter, but I ain't, until I get a son or two. Shit, I'm not hanging my jersey up. And I'm not getting with no chick 35, 36, 37 either to do so. I tell you that. Shit, fuck you talking about. But yeah, man, I just had to hop back on and get in this month. You know what? Let me speak on something that I've been meaning to make a video about over this past week. And this kind of ties into it. But I've been thinking about how I'm going to attack that video. So let me go ahead and address that now because it kind of segues into the topic. That being the demonization of older men. Of these old niggas. Shout out to TBA. And I've seen really the attack on the baby boomer generation. I've seen it in this space, whether it be the manosphere or whether it be people who adhere to the new black media, And because even though I am a millennial, I was born in the mid-'80s, my parents are baby boomers. My parents had me in their early 30s. So, yeah. So even though I'm a millennial, all of my cousins, all of my first cousins that are around the same age as my mother and whatnot, all of my mother's siblings who had cousins that are around my mother's age, they're Gen Xers. They're like way older than me. Like my mother's the third of 15. So I gotta wait until, sibling number 11, 12 before I run into first cousins my age. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, that's kind of off topic. Anyway, I was raised by baby boomers, and I myself, I know firsthand how fucked up baby boomers are. I'm not gonna deny that. I'm not gonna deny that baby boomers were a selfish, self-centered fucking generation, and they essentially screwed the pooch. They were at the apex of a critical turning point in our history, and they completely fumbled the ball. And now it's up to millennials and Gen Xers to try to right the ship, or at the very least, course correct to an extent that where we just don't fucking crash and burn. You know what I'm saying? Where we don't crash, where we can at least make a crash landing. You know what I mean? But I say that because before I joined the army, I was really kind of, how you say, I really wasn't in the close proximity to the real young people like that. And what I mean by like real young people, I mean like 18, 19. Hell, there was a couple people in basic that were 17. Their moms, their parents fucking signed a waiver and they fucking joined at the age of 17. So I'll just say 17, 18, 19 year olds. I really was adjacent from them. You know what I'm saying? Because before I even fucking went to the military, I was a truck driver for a few years, you know? And at the very least, to become a truck driver, you gotta be 21 years old or older to even get your CDLs. You know what I mean? So I didn't see him so for the past 2 years I was a truck driver, I didn't see him in that age cohort on over the road. When I was at truck driving school, I didn't see him. Now, when I was in college, because I got my 2-year degree in 2017. So from 2017 to like 2015, 2014 or whatever, I did see, but I was like early 30s. I was like 29, 30, 31 type of shit like that. You know, I did see, and those people whom I went to college with, they were what, 18, 19, 20 at the time. So they're what, mid 20s now. Some of them late 20s. You know what I'm saying? They're like 25, 26, 27, 28 now. So I've been, kind of apart from them. And when I went to basic, and from basic through AIT was really a crash course on this fucking generation, and how they think and how their orientation is. Fucking generation pandemic, if you want to call it. Where they all graduated the year of the pandemic. I call them generation pandemic. You know what I'm saying? Like them motherfuckers. And I have my critiques about them. I will say this. I was going to spare the critiques, but I'll go ahead and say it now. Hold on, excuse me real quick while I take a sip. I will say this. This generation pandemic, the motherfuckers who are 17, 18, 19, whatever, these motherfuckers are literally half my age. You know what I'm saying? 17, 18, 19-year-old motherfuckers are literally half my age. My biggest pet peeve with them that I ran into this problem a lot in basic and in AIT is that they were born in the social media, like millennials like me, we we adopted the social media. They were born in it. You know what I'm saying? Like Bane off of fucking The Dark Knight. We adopted social media. They were born in it. So they have cultivated a culture of troll and of trolling. Now, granted, there are some troll aspects within millennial and Gen X culture. There is some troll to it, you know. It's sad. It's really sad to see motherfuckers in their 30s all the way up into their 40s on the internet acting like some prepubescent or some juvenile punk kids with the troll shit. I mean, literally, you got niggas in their 40s hopping on panels and proceeding to troll as if these niggas are in the 7th fucking grade. It is absolutely pathetic. It really is. And that's one of the reasons why I myself, I know I'm kind of getting off, but follow me here. That's one of the reasons why I really stopped hopping on panels like that. Like, especially if the panel is hot and the nigga shit is heavy and the niggatry is heavy, I'm not hopping on that motherfucker. Because I know some of these niggas is about the troll shit. But anyway, Generation Pandemic, they are all about troll. And the issue with that is, yeah, being a troll is cool if you're trolling somebody whom you're playing Call of Duty with and this nigga's 2 time zones away from you, or 2 states away from you, or you're trolling it up with your fucking Twitter fingers on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, or whatever social media platform you're on. That's fine. Oh, it's really not fine, but at the very least, it's safe. You know what I mean? It's safe. The issue arises, and this is where, excuse me, Generation Pandemic really fucking fails to make the delineation between the real world and cyberspace, or, you know, social media. Is that those same tactics and behaviors that they have cultivated from going back to elementary school, middle school, and high school, and now they just now leaving high school, heading into the real world. That's all they know, is how they fucking operate in social media, and they try to bring that shit into the real world, and it doesn't fucking work. You can't square that circle, because you're gonna run headlong into a fucking Mack truck called Benjamin D'Souza. You know what I'm saying? And that is what happened all throughout basic training and AIT, to the point where I had to literally, not figuratively, literally put these fucking knuckles across this young man's head. Whoop this joker all up and down my motherfucking barracks room at AIT. I had to tell this nigga, get him up. What Mystical say? Lace up your Adidas and throw up your dick beaters, cause we about to chunk him. And I had to scuff this nigga like a pair of old Sunday dress shoes. But anyway, the issue that I have with this young generation is that they can't make the delineation between social media troll and the real world. And they're approaching brothers in my generation who are really not that old, We're older, but we're not that old. They're approaching us, how you say, they're not approaching us with caution. Because as TBA says, you gotta watch these old niggas, right? He says that, right? But they're not approaching us being vigilant and being cautious. Like, okay, I'ma watch you. They're not approaching us like that. They're approaching us with hostility because they already have it in their mind that it's a foregone conclusion that this is an old nigga, this is the enemy, so I'm just gonna act however I'm gonna act, and the result is I'm looking for a confirmation bias. You know what I'm saying? And I think we need, I think at least brothers in my age cohort, we need to be careful. We really do need to be careful because I've heard it said, you know, back when shout out to Mr. Fantastic. Mr. Fantastic like a year or so older than me and shit, but he's around my same age and shit. Shout out to him. And I heard a lot of, cause Mr. Fantastic when he came on, he was really getting on the older brothers, you know, in their 50s and whatnot. Shout out to the general, cause he was on the general head, you know, a lot. And the general was like, Q and shit. He was like, how old are you? You 36, 37? He said, you getting up there, fella. He said, you talking like you young, but you really ain't that young, man. You know what I'm saying? Like you getting up there, motherfucker. You closer to 50 than you are 18. I tell you that. You know, you motherfucker, you closer to 50 than you are 18. Best believe that. You better believe it. And I used to, you know, I would listen to Q, you know, the general, when he was coming at clapping back at Mr. Fantastic, because Mr. Fantastic, you know, he used to come on, you old niggas, and, you know, really ragging on the older fellas and shit. And I'm kind of glad that Mr. Fantastic done chilled out with that shit. But yeah, that's gonna be us in a minute, fellas. All you fellas born in the 80s, all you 80s babies, that's finna be us. So you better be careful. Better be fucking careful, man. That's not to absolve. No, hold on. You know what? Let me just say that I do believe that you ought to afford older people with a level of courtesy and a level of respect. Not necessarily, you know, how you say, endearment, but I mean just like basic respect. We shouldn't go around, you know, disrespecting our elders to the point because we're about to be elders. Like we're on deck. You know what I'm saying? Actually, Gen Xers are on deck. The Gen Xers that are in their 40s, early to mid 40s, they're on deck. We're in the hole. We're in the hole. Like we're about to be on deck here in a minute. So I think that we need to really examine how we approach the older generation with a discerning eye. Now, I'm not saying that every fucking older person is deserving of respect and endearment and whatnot, because there is a level of saboteur. Like some people in the older generation, they do like to sabotage the young. They do like to set, you know, trips up and shit. You know, some of them are more concerned with base carnal shit as opposed to setting up the next generation coming up behind them up for success. But I think we need to be a little bit more prudent to identify who is deserving of respect and who is not. I don't think that we should all lump all older people in the same boat. And this kind of ties into what I was initially saying, because it seems like to me SWP's been beating this fucking drum for quite some time now. He's been on this fucking he's been on this soapbox for at least 6 months. At least 6 months, maybe even longer than that. And I'm like, fella, you about to be that old nigga too. You about to be in your 40s, mid 40s, late 40s, early 50s too. So unless you already got a shorty that you about to go ahead and settle down with, what the fuck are you talking about? What are you talking about? But yeah, man. That's all I got, man. Get up on that.